Now on BBC Radio Berkshire, Suzanne Courtney.
Now, my guest in the studio this morning is Mike Rees. He's a private investigator. He's an independent investigator who is based in Wokingham. 30 years working in the financial services sector, was made redundant and thought, what should I do? I know, obviously, I'll become a private investigator, which is something you've been doing now, Mike, for five years.
I've been doing it for 5 years, yes.
And you're still enjoying it?
I'm still enjoying it. It's different every day. No 2 days are ever alike. Always something new and exciting. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Now, I would imagine, the thing that I would guess is that doing this job, you're going to get a lot of people who want to find out what their other halves are up to.
We do, yes.
Is that the majority of your work?
No, it's not the majority. We do a reasonable amount of sort of matrimonial work where one party in a marriage believes that something may not be quite right. They come to that conclusion in lots of different ways, but they're not entirely sure. And what they're looking to do is to get some certainty so they can decide how to move on with the rest of their lives. And that's when they come to people like ourselves.
And are they always right?
No, not always right.
Because you'd think if you're that suspicious that you've hired a private investigator who you're paying money to, surely you've already decided what's happened.
You'd think so, but no, they're not always right. I mean, the funny thing is that, or the interesting thing is, I should say, is that generally women who come and think their husbands are having an affair are normally right. Probably 95% of those are right. On the other hand, if a man comes to us because he thinks his wife's having an affair, they're probably right maybe 60% of the time.
So really not that high a percentage.
No, so I think women have got sort of better intuition about this type of thing.
What do the women tend to be doing if they're not having affairs? Are they just, she says, being horribly generic, shoe shopping? Are they taking up new hobbies? Are they, secretly working as a postman on the side? I mean, who knows?
Well, I've not come across any of those, funnily enough. But no, I mean, it's lots of things. I mean, it's probably the suspicion has arisen because they've started going out more than they would have before. And they say, well, I'm just going out with some friends. And in reality, they are going out with some friends. They are just going out with friends, yeah. Which is what we establish when we follow them. And it depends how concerned the other party is, because, you can prove that somebody is having an affair. It's very difficult to prove somebody's not having an affair.
Because how long do you follow them for?
Well, absolutely. All I can say to them is, well, look, they didn't do anything untoward on that night or during that week. And depending on how suspicious the other party is, they may believe, well, that's fine, everything's hunky-dory, or, well, you just didn't happen to catch them.
Yeah.
So, it's a tough one.
And when you're doing this sort of trailing, so we were talking earlier about the fact that it is completely legal to follow someone around in a car and take pictures of them when they're on the street. Do you ever worry about being spotted? I mean, of course, we've all seen films and shows. My particular favourite is 24. They're always surveilling somebody. And do you ever worry about being spotted? Do you wear shades?
You do worry. I mean, initially, when you start doing the job, I certainly found I was completely paranoid. I thought everybody knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
They all thought they knew, I thought they know why I'm here, they see what I'm doing, but in reality, of course, they're not. And as you get more and more experience, then you sort of lose that a little bit. So, yes, sometimes you do get worried. If you're having to follow the same person for a long time, then obviously the risk of being seen increases. But it's something you just get used to, and you try and blend in. I try and sort of not look out of the ordinary. I mean, I'm a fairly ordinary looking bloke, so that's quite easy. You dress depending on where you're going.
Yeah.
So, if you were following somebody down in the beach, then you'd wear shorts. If you're following somebody in London, you wear a suit. And then you blend in with the environment.
That's so interesting. Have you ever been caught?
No, I've never actually been caught. I have had instances where I've pulled away from a job because I thought that it was looking as if they might be suspicious.
Yeah.
And that could be anything. If you're following somebody in a car and they suddenly pull into the curb for no apparent reason, you think, oh, they've spotted me. They want to see what I do next.
Yeah.
In reality, they might be just taking a phone call. I followed one chap and he went round a roundabout twice. And I thought, that's it, he knows. So I pulled away and I later found out that he was lost. So,
really?
But you have to be aware if somebody starts behaving in a way that you think they might know. And the best thing then is to pull away and do it on another day.
And how do you break the news to people? If it is a sort of, like you said, a matrimonial
Yeah.
issue or something, a personal issue, how do you sit someone down and say, oh, actually, you were right? Do you say that, or do you just hand them over the evidence and let them figure it out themselves?
You do it as tactfully as possible, and obviously they're suspicious, but it's still going to become as a shock to them when you actually tell them, yes, he did meet this woman or she did meet this man. So as tactfully as possible. Obviously, often there are tears when you get involved in that conversation. We would do it as a conversation. We wouldn't just send them a report and let them read it for themselves. We'd tell them what was in the report before they got it. It's never easy, because obviously if you do find out that there's an affair going on, somebody's life is turned upside down.
Or possibly 4 people.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and often there's children involved as well, and that's particularly distressing. But, it's unfortunately a fact of life, and you just have to tell them how it is.
And the bits that you enjoy most, not those bits, actually you get employed by companies to maybe have a look at what employees are doing, and
Yes.
that might be because they've had a prolonged period of sickness and what's going on, or something's going missing, or
Absolutely.
intellectual property as well. So that's...
Yeah, we do a fair bit of work with companies, usually, as you mentioned, to do with staff, issues they have with staff.
Yeah.
Whether it be theft, and as you again say, that theft could be goods, it could be money, or it could be intellectual property. It
Yeah.
could be a database or clients' names and addresses or whatever. Or it could be, and often this is one that we get called in on, long-term sickness, where the employer thinks things aren't quite what they seem, and actually we find the employee is working for somebody else, for a competitor around the corner. Another one we have is people who are making claims against the company for injuries at work, and they're claiming, I can't get out of bed, my back is destroyed, I can't move. But then we find them playing football in the park on a Saturday, or down B&Q, carrying big fencing panels. So, it's helping those companies resolve this type of issues, because obviously it costs small companies a lot of money. So we can help them resolve that. And obviously the result of that isn't quite as sad as it is when you have to tell somebody they're having an affair.
Do you still enjoy it? Do you think you'll still be doing it in 5 years?
I would hope so. I'm probably not rich enough to retire before then, so I'm going to have to keep doing something. But yes, I enjoy it. As I said earlier, it's something different every day. There are bits in there that you don't see on the TV, where you're sitting in your car for 6 hours and nothing happens, and then you go home again. Not so much past donuts. That's
Donuts.
Yeah.
Anything
Donuts
you can
and
get in a
coffee.
garage, which are never healthy.
Absolutely,
No.
garage food. Yeah.
It's just pastry and donuts.
Yes.
And bad coffee.
But those it's a long period of nothing happening, and then suddenly they move. You're following. The adrenaline kicks in. It's great fun. And yes, I think I'll probably still be doing it in 5 years.
Do you have a trench coat?
I don't. Sorry to disappoint you.
I knew that was going to be my last question.
Yeah.
I was a big fan, still am a big fan of Columbo, and obviously he was a police
Yeah.
officer, not just a private investigator.
Absolutely.
One day I hope to meet a man who has a similarly fabulous trench coat. Cigar? No cigar either.
No cigar,
Mike.
no transport, no trilby.
Mike, I'm sure we'll have you in again, but thank you so much for sparing some time and battling the traffic
It's a
to
pleasure.
get in and talk to us this morning. Fantastic just to have you on the show, and a little glimpse into a world that most of us, hopefully, will never have to come in contact